Hey everybody, another exciting day in the markets. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you out there. So this is all about layer zeros up there in text, but let me kill that so it doesn't get in the way of the content. And let's, as usual, no frill, no shill, just a truckload of data. So this is the battle of two major layer zeros that we've known and loved for a long time. But in full disclosure, I don't own either one of them, but they are Polkadot and Cosmos. And a special shout out to DJ as well and the team for the engine that makes this stuff possible. An unbelievable amount of years and years of research and development, modeling, API feeds, etc. go into these videos and the engines behind the videos. So I want to thank everybody every day. And I also want to thank the team on Patreon for voting on this. So Patreon gave me a cup. Apparently the biggest finance community in the world. So big thank you to Patreon as well and everybody in it. So let's talk about this face-off. This will be a fun one. And this was the toughest one we've done yet because it's the drag down, knockdown, drag down, brawl out there. So I hope the volume's okay. Some people said it was a bit low yesterday. And disclaimer, this is not investment advice. I am impartial. All I do is follow data. All I do is follow alpha. I don't care where it comes from. I go where the models tell me to go. So, and of course, everybody, if you want to amplify your intelligence, our crypto alpha analysis and data are unmatched anywhere on this planet Earth. Nobody comes close to what you're going to see. And if you're reading this, you're in the right place. And we provide you with pure data without any of the fluff. So subscribe now if you want to amplify your intelligence in the age of AI, because it's going to be important to have every edge you possibly can. So let's jump on. This is the face-off playlist. This is the fourth one I've done. Can you believe it's a month already? It feels like I just started yesterday. But we've done Polygon versus Arbitrum, Ethereum versus Solana, Cardano versus Phantom, and Polkadot versus Cosmos today. And they are fun. Like literally, it's like we're doing the Olympics for cryptos, comparing them against each other and see who wins. And it's actually a very good exercise. So first of all, let's step back and talk for a second about what layer zeros are, because when I first heard of layer zeros, it confused me. Anything with a zero kind of confused me because it can go any direction. But a layer zero is the underlying infrastructure upon which a layer one blockchain can be built. And layer one is a base blockchain used by developers to build applications such as dApps. And layer two is a scaling solution that handles activities off of layer one. And a layer three blockchain based application could be like a video game or a wallet or other dApp, something again built on something, etc. So that's kind of the quick lay of the land. Make sure we get it straight. We're talking about the layer zeros here today. Now let's do a quick high-level comparison at 30,000 feet or 10,000 meters. They're blockchain type. They're both layer zeros and they're both modular. Language. So we have everything from Comet BFT, which is Go, and Rust on Cosmos. By the way, Rust is good, but also Polkadot uses their substrate Rust as well as Go, a little bit of C++, a little bit of Java in there. Transaction speed, Cosmos 10,000 TPS, Polkadot 1,000 TPS. Transaction fees vary depending on congestion. We'll get into more of that later. Scalability, both horizontal and vertical, by the way, for Cosmos. DJ, thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the content. And the power chains are horizontal. Security is BFT, by the way. You're going to hear that term a lot. Byzantine fault tolerance is what BFT is. And the security is Comet BFT, considering it's Cosmos. And Polkadot's a relay chain with nominated proof of stake. Decentralization. So Cosmos has a mid-tier Nakamoto coefficient. Not too good. But Polkadot has the second best Nakamoto coefficient on Earth. So big plus for them. Ecosystem growing for both and expanding. Community, both active and supportive and engaged. Price today, $9 versus $5. Market cap, $3 billion versus $6 billion. And market cap technically infinite, fully diluted market cap. But we've actually doctored that so we can get some of the ratios to work. We assume 15% year-on-year inflation for 10 years, which will take us to a fully diluted market cap of about $6.4 billion and $7 billion for Polkadot. Now, the reason we did this is you have to have some benchmark by which to use our ratios. So we made that assumption. If you want a different assumption, you can do that yourself. It just takes an engine. So let's talk about how they work real quick. Tendermint BFT, we just covered what BFT is. is a generic engine for Cosmos. In that sense, it can be used to power any type of blockchain application. However, remember, it does not have any built-in functionality for interacting with applications. This is where the application blockchain interface comes in, the ABCI you see there. And it's a socket protocol that allows Tendermint BFT to communicate with the applications. And this allows applications to interact with Tendermint to perform tasks such as transactions, querying the blockchain state, and subscribing to events. That's Cosmos, and they are similar yet quite different. This is Polkadot, how it works. Polkadot is, again, layer 0. It's the foundation for other blockchains that are built on top of it. And the underlying relay chain is responsible for coordinating the communication between these parachains or parallel blockchains. And this allows Polkadot to achieve two things. 1, scalability, and 2, interoperability. And I'm a big believer in blockchain interoperability as long as it is very secure. Remember, the more interoperability you have, the more risk surfaces you have, therefore the more danger. And that is kind of the issue. But when they crack the code, it could be very powerful. So let's now jump into the math engine. I'm going to blast through a whole bunch of ratios, about 40 of them. We're going to summarize them at the end. We're going to score and see who the winner is. And again, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the team and their hard work for dealing with me, fulfilling the vision, and their dedication to everything really gives us. The other thing I'd like to mention about the IA engine, it's based on like tons of APIs. We spend thousands of dollars every month on APIs to feed this beast. Okay, so it's not a trivial thing, but also the data varies hour to hour, day to day. So what you see today is different to what you see last week or yesterday, and different to what you see tomorrow or a week from now or a month from now. So this is a moving target. It's based on everything that is in flux, and we take a real-time snapshot of exactly where we are. So I hope people get that. There's some confusion about that. This is by no means static. In addition, let's start at the beginning. Nakamoto coefficient, decentralization. It was the whole topic of decentralization and regulatory scrutiny is why I came up with the idea of the crypto compendium back in early 2021 when I started this channel. Polkadot wins by almost 9x the decentralization and crushes all other cryptos other than Bitcoin. Score for Atom is 870 for Polkadot. A massive win there for Polkadot. And I'll go fast. Pause the video if you want to analyze any of this in great detail. And all of this is from the SCP profiler. So here you can see the technology capability. A couple of things here. Atom wins on the technology front by a significant margin. It is 10 times faster. The time to finality is faster. And the block time is 6 times faster. So 6, 6, and 10. Absolute win here by Cosmos. Let's look at daily transactions. Here you can see 31,000 daily transactions on the Cosmos chain and 8,600 on Polkadot. But remember, even though Cosmos wins by 3x, note transactions on the bottom layer may or may not include the L1 chains that live on top. And that is extremely hard to calculate and measure because very little of the data is actually public. Crypto AI. Hope you like this, Crypto AI. So also, daily transactions is over a 3-month period. It gives you kind of a bird's eye view for trends. And you can see Atom ranges between 30,000 and 50,000 daily transactions. But the trend is down for Atom on the left, and on the right, the trend is down slightly for Polkadot, but not as bad as Atom. But they are ranging a lot less, 6,000 to 9,000 daily transactions. So that's where the daily transactions are. Let's look at daily active users. I always use my shopping mall analogy. Cosmos wins by almost 2x. That is active addresses, 12,400 versus 7,865. But again, does not include maybe some of the data from the L1 chains that live above it. Let's look at daily active user development. Like the transactions, the daily active user trend is also down for Atom, between 15,000 and 30,000, but the trend is down to the right. And Polkadot, 6,000 to 10,000 daily active users, slightly down to the right as well, but Cosmos is 2 to 3 times more active by daily active user on average. Let's talk about daily transactions divided by daily active users. Again, these are critical ratios. This shows you how much activity each user has on the chain. And Atom wins by over 2x. Basically, anybody that plays in Polkadot does one transaction a day. That's it. Cosmos, they do 2.5, so it's 2.5 better. And again, doesn't include some of the activity on the top chains. So let's talk about average transaction fees. Another big one, Cosmos is 4 cents. Polkadot is 10 cents, so Cosmos is 2.5 times cheaper than Polkadot on average per transaction. But what is the fee calculation is a function of a couple of different things. One is fee equals gas by gas prices. For Cosmos, again, based on congestion, and Polkadot have a little more of a complex formula that you can read there yourselves. And yeah, all you need to know is it's more tricky. So let's look at daily transaction fees in total. Atom charges less than half of Polkadot per transaction, but since Atom processes more transactions than Polkadot, this means Cosmos receives higher daily transaction fees overall. Daily transaction fees are $1,300 for Cosmos and $863 for Polkadot. That's not enough to cut it. When you compare that to the average of the 28 layer 1s, layer 2s, it's about $46,000 a day. These guys need to find other ways to generate revenue, which is beyond the scope of this video. So let's look at weekly developer activity. I always say 2 things, ladies and gentlemen. You follow the money, you follow the developers. It tells you where things are going to go. So this is an interesting one here. Data is missing for the Polkadot developer breakdown, but we do have totals, which matters the most. So Cosmos has 634 developers, Polkadot 776, so Polkadot wins, as they have 22% more weekly active developers than Cosmos, which is good. The more developers, the better. Let's look at total developer contributions, how active they are. Polkadot has double the developer contributions over Cosmos. However, remember the Lindy effect. The longer you are around, the more repositories you'll have. And of course, Polkadot's been around longer than Cosmos. Therefore, they do have more. But still, that's a win for Polkadot. And by the way, thank you as well for the likes. And I hope you appreciate all the work myself and the team do behind the scenes. We appreciate it. Get the word out there. For people holding either asset, it's good to know where we're going. Let's look at circulating supply. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, Cosmos has no max supply in the code, as they want to incentivize stakers and validators while the wider Cosmos ecosystem grows. Check that out, as I mentioned at the beginning. So Polkadot is at 90% of the max supply, which is good. But the supply model for Cosmos is dynamic. Inflation has a floor of 7% and a ceiling of 20%, and therefore we did assume that 15% out of the gate. And that's going to help us with some of the ratios that come later as well, like these ones. So when we look at market cap divided by daily transactions, how much market cap is allocated for each daily transaction, you can see here Cosmos wins by a huge margin for circulating tokens, whereas Polkadot is very expensive. And even if we forecast out the fully diluted market cap, again, Cosmos wins versus Polkadot as we go forward. So that basically means it's a cheaper asset to buy. You don't want to buy something with a lot of market cap allocated per transaction or per user, etc. Let's look at another one as well. This is the market cap over daily active users. Again, Cosmos wins on both counts, both circulating and fully diluted market cap, based on our 15% inflation assumption. Again, as you know, if you know this channel, I don't like inflation. I don't like money printing. I don't like debasement. It's not good. 4 means you don't have a hard asset. Let's look at other ratios. This is the market cap over daily transaction fees. You can see here, Cosmos wins both by market cap and fully diluted market cap based on our assumption. Basically, $2.5 million versus $7.5 million per fee, which is astounding. Oh, by the way, the median number is 166,000 for the top 28 chains. These guys are way out there, but you have to bear in mind they are layer zeros as well. Let's look at ratio of market cap divided by developers. Again, this is kind of interesting. If you look at the first one, you will see, first of all, the median market cap over developers is 4.4 million. Median fully diluted market cap over developers is 7.7 million. But Cosmos wins by market cap and Polkadot wins by fully diluted market cap. It's kind of a really close battle here. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, these are very similar in many different respects as we go forward. Let's look at more ratios. Again, because Polkadot has no total value locked on the base layer 0, according to DeFi Llama and publicly available data, Cosmos wins by default. Bit of an unfair one, but we measure everything with the same bunch of yardsticks that we do. Now let's look at TVL again. As I mentioned, there is none for Polkadot, but there is over $500,000 at TVL for Cosmos, and that is important to know. Let's have another visual of TVL across the ecosystem for Cosmos. TVL within the Atom ecosystem is 895 million, which is 6 times larger than the Polkadot ecosystem of 123.5 million. Basically, you can construe from that Cosmos has a lot more DeFi dApps running on the layer 0. The TVL for Polkadot is 123 million. Again, a lot smaller than Polkadot. Only 14% of the Cosmos ecosystem at 895 million. And you can see the breakdown there. Moonbeam is the top player here in this regard. Let's look at DEX volume here. This is a little bit different. Cosmos only has 8 million of DEX volume. Polkadot 678 million of DEX volume. Polkadot is 85 times larger than Cosmos in DEX volume. And Polkadot only has one primary DEX, and there's been a huge uptick in that Polkadot DEX, which could potentially be related to the Uniswap launching on Polkadot via Moonbeam. Remember, as I always say, crypto is very fickle. Crypto users are very fickle. They bounce around wherever the best, cheapest, fastest service is. And therefore, at a snapshot point in time, certain things are a certain way, but they can change from day to day. So always bear that in mind when you're investing in crypto. Let's look at Stablecoin Market Cap. Cosmos 310 million, Polkadot 24 million. The Cosmos ecosystem is much more Stablecoin Market Cap, 12.7x larger than Polkadot. You can see where the stablecoins actually are. But, when you look at how big they are, some of those chains, they're just way too small to survive the long term, unless something radically changes. Let's look at another thing I like to look at. It's what I call ATR, is distance from all-time high, distance from all-time low here. Polkadot is further away from its all-time high, suggesting interest may be waning in the project after significant altcoin movement since the beginning of 2023. So you don't want to be a laggard here. You can see Cosmos is 79% from the all-time high. All-time high date was the January 17th, 2022. And then the all-time high date is 4th of November, 2021. It's also interesting to see how certain coins hit certain dates at certain time. It kind of identifies if they're correlated with what, say, Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing as well out there in the market. But again, you don't want things to be bouncing along the bottom or too high or too close to the top. That means no upside. Too close to the bottom means it could be just flatlining, like beep in the medical world. Let's look at some charts before we get to the conclusion. This is the Cosmos price chart. And even though it actually looks like it's down, it's a hell of a lot better than most names. The chart is actually very good, given it's now higher than the 2020 highs and higher than summer 2022 before the proverbial poop hit the fan during summer 2022. That was a nasty 20 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, where the whole world started to, Raul Paul says, flicking poop at each other. Let's look at the Polkadot chart. This is a different kettle of fish altogether. The chart is pretty ugly. It is that beep flat line. And again, looking at these charts in isolation makes no sense. But if you know me, I always say everything is a pair. Let's look at the pair chart for interest sake. This is Cosmos divided by Polkadot. And what's stunning about this, I like to see patterns. Cosmos has done 3 times better than Polkadot over the last 900 days. So 300%, 3x in 900 days. And that is a huge delta in the corner of Cosmos. Again, you don't want to be holding things that are flat or dead or bleeding against peer group assets. Remember that. Let's look at some final ratios. This is market cap as a percentage of ETH market cap, because part of what I like to do is see, okay, if ETH does this, what do these guys do? How much upside do they have, etc.? Are they ETH killers, etc.? But here, Cosmos wins by both market cap and fully diluted market cap, i.e. it does more for cheaper. This is how you invest. This is how you buy stuff that's undervalued. So circulating, Cosmos is 1.4% of ETH, while Polkadot is 2.76% of ETH, but ETH does an awful lot more business, as per all the ratios I just showed you. Now, let's look at ecosystems. Cosmos has a huge range of dApps, protocols and chains, thanks in large part, by the way, to how friendly it is to build within the Cosmos SDK. And it is a powerful, versatile platform for building scalable, interoperable, and secure blockchain applications. It's a great choice for builders who are looking to build a blockchain, and they have everything kind of built out of the box in the layer 0 that they need. They don't have to worry about that. They can just focus on the dApp. Let's look at Polkadot here. Again, been around longer, but the ecosystem is not quite as expensive as Cosmos, that is built in such a short period of time. But they do have some good DeFi apps, and again, not bad as we go forward, but not as good as Cosmos. Let's look at the final thing, social media engagement. Actually, no, third final thing. This is here, we do look at this too, the Lindy effect, because Polkadot has been around a lot longer than Cosmos. That has 1.4 million Twitter followers versus 518 for Cosmos, which is not a lot. But if you saw yesterday's video, Octa, we saw the fourth largest chain in terms of Twitter followers is Near Protocol. And Near is another similar type of beast to these guys, and we will be covering that one soon. Again, it's up to the community to vote on. Let's look at some SCP profiler data here. And this is kind of a wrap-up of kind of technology rank, development activity rank, adoption rank, growth opportunity rank, some of the stuff we've walked through, and where they score. So Cosmos, from a technology perspective, is 5th from 28 smart contract platforms. Polkadot is number 14. Despite many believe Polkadot has the best technology, according to us, it does not. Development activity, Polkadot is number 2 out of 28. It has a lot of development activity, but I don't know what they're developing because it's not gaining traction. And Cosmos is number 4, which is way up there. Adoption rank 16 for Cosmos, and number 21, which is not good, for Polkadot. That's been the big problem for Polkadot, is not being adopted. And growth opportunity, they both, for the first time ever, have a score of 17. And I have not seen that before in the SCP platform. So again, not bad, but interesting. You can see Cosmos wins 3 out of 4. Let's look at the composite score from the Crypto Compendium. Cosmos is 5.9 and Polkadot wins 6.85. But remember, Polkadot benefits from the Lindy effect and having a max supply cap, and that is critical. Therefore, it's above my 6.5 threshold. Remember, the Crypto Compendium is tokenomics driven, it's regulatory risk driven, etc. It's pocket liners, whale holdings, insiders, etc. These are all the inflation, all the stuff we look at to put together the Crypto Compendium score. And we have discovered there's more than a 92% correlation between price action and the Compendium score. So this stuff works. But you can see in this case, because they're so close, it doesn't always work. There's always that 8% of the time it doesn't work. So let's go. And first of all, quick reminder, we also have community members that put the summaries of this together, all the slides, podcast version, all the write-ups in case you miss anything. It's about 13 cents a Substack. And the conclusion, best part, everybody, who won this knockdown, drag-out battle? Well, let's look at the FaceOff comparison, and I did cover the TA, the chart. Cosmos is 3x better over the last 900 days, so that's a win on the TA side. But back to fundamental analysis, you can see here, I'm just going to call out where Polkadot wins. They win in decentralization, they win in developers, they win in circulating supply, tokenomics, they win in fully diluted market cap over developers, they win in DEX volume, and they win on Twitter and social engagement. That's a total tally of 6 points. Cosmos crush it on everything else, 14-6. So that's where we are. But wait, there's a little bit more before we get to the final conclusion. The market cap dominance is a quick reminder again, compared to higher traffic L1s and L2s. L0s are hard to justify relative to their competitors, especially once you factored in user adoption and market traction and feed generation, all that type of stuff. But again, based on the total crypto market cap, 0.27%. For Cosmos, 0.53. Cosmos could have a little bit more upside based on what they do. And the winner is Cosmos, ladies and gentlemen. Zoom into this lovely graphic. And while Cosmos does have issues, particularly with undefined max supply of tokens, it does win across the majority of metrics that we look at, again, in a data-driven way. It's worth keeping in mind as well that Cosmos doesn't currently capitalize on user adoption in the same way Polkadot does at the foundation layer. But if this changes in the future, it could reap a lot more rewards. It can find ways to better monetize and capture value through all the great SDK work that they have, etc. So that is the Layer Zero FaceOff. I hope you like it. Hit the like on the way out, and a big thank you to Patreon as well. And drop a comment below if you do have a burning desire to come up with an idea for a great face-off that makes for good TV. Thank you all for being here. These things aren't very well watched because not many people own Polkadot or Cosmos, so they don't care. But there's a lot of value in here as well to see exactly how to do this for other tokens as well down the line. So appreciate the likes on the way out, and love you all, and I'll see you all tomorrow. By the way, Tesla earnings in about 30 minutes, which will be exciting too. Thank you, Benny. I'll see you out there, and the mods in the chat for keeping us all safe and polite. Bye all.